Starting live video. Live.
All right, hey, welcome to the watch on that. And if you could, thank you. We're good and centered there. And
are we live? Anybody seeing us out there?
Live.
And if you could close that door, thank you, sir. You're a good man. Appreciate it. Welcome. It's what day is it? It's Wednesday, the 23rd.
Something like that.
And are we alive? I mean,
I don't know.
I
I'm not seeing that we're live. Oh, we are live. We are live.
We are live. Okay, great. You know,
we have gone live.
On that, I need to adjust my ceramic body armor plates here. On that, okay. On that, I've got the new one, so you can't see that.
What do you mean, Joe?
How
we sound? We sound pretty good.
I think we sound pretty good. I'm gonna put it on here so we can see us here, so we can make sure we do a sound check here. Miss Pat is going to be in here.
Well, who's with us out there today? On this Wednesday, we've taken the show to Wednesday. We wanted to try and get off at 11:30, but we had some conflicts, so now we're doing the 12 o'clock, a little after 12, and we're going live.
Yep.
And who's with us out there? Somebody talk to us. Let us know who's out there.
Let me go ahead and put the volume down here. There we go. Well, you know,
I guess I haven't kind of turned my volume down on the phone there.
Yeah, we'll turn mine down there too.
We got too much technology.
Okay, there we go. We're looking good.
So if anybody's curious, I know Joe's curious, but I decided to, dress for success today. And being that I'm over here in Columbus,
dress for safety.
I wore some tactical stuff. I've got my Kevlar on here, and same Kevlar that I wore over in Africa and the Middle East.
Let me check something real quick. Okay,
yeah, what's up?
According to my information, no one's been killed today.
So, who's caught the paper today? Who saw the Ledger Inquirer? Did anybody see the headlines?
What was it? Three
homicides in 3 days, and we're tired of it. Who else is tired out there? Who is worried about your family coming to Columbus? Who is worried about driving over here to shop and being in some of these neighborhoods and
any neighborhood
and our friends over at the I think it's the Columbus, Georgia Concern page, or the Concern Columbus, Georgia Citizens page. There's a post over there that the mayor, the Queen Mayor, the Queen Mother, Queen TT, is still coming off with this, and I'm going to let Dr. Joe talk about this here in a second, but she says we're all delusional. Okay,
yes.
We are delusional because
we're just crazy.
There's no crime in Columbus.
No.
It's not bad. It's totally normal for people to be shot down in the middle of the day.
Russell's asking why you're wearing a helmet. Because it's dangerous.
I'm in Columbus, Russell. I'm in Columbus, and I thought I would dress for success today, and see if I could make it back across the Alabama state line.
Without getting shot.
I got my Kevlar. Now, I'm not wearing the plate vest. It's just too hot today for the plate vest. In fact, I'm burning up right now in this stuff. I'm going to probably come out of it here in a minute. But
well, Eric, I'm quoting the mayor. The mayor said that crime is down 33%.
Oh yeah,
33%.
Okay. Who else has lived here the last 10 years that can remember as many people getting knocked off? We are on par now to set a record this year. What are we at? Like 20, 25 murders?
That'd be 25 or 26.
25 homicides?
Well, I can tell you this, too. I know also that they're currently in the Muskogee County Jail. And I don't mean people that are from other places that are being kept here. They're currently in the Muskogee County Jail right now, 60 murder defendants.
Yeah,
that are
60.
60.
Hey, Mayor, how does that number 60 hit your statistics? Huh?
Yeah.
And the fact that the jail is over almost to capacity. And what is going on? And we're delusional. We are she keeps spouting these catchphrases and stuff. Oh, we're a gun culture. Like all the law-abiding citizens, we're out there, we're just shooting up Columbus every day. I was going to bring my AR-15 in with me, but I didn't want to alarm anybody. Get mistaken for a Antifa or white supremacist or something, that might be guarding one of the Confederate statues or something.
And what's just amazing is it gets me is that, really, is there anyone, I'm curious, anybody out there, is there anyone in Columbus that's going to say that we don't have a major violent crime problem in Columbus right now. I mean, not just a little one, a major, huge, gigantic one. I mean, it is, and and what you got politicians that are getting ready to run for other offices, and they don't want to make it look in any way like it's negative on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, Mayor, get off this. Nobody is believing this stuff. All right, you might have one lady out there. I think her name is Anne, and she is from transplanted from England. You've got her fooled into believing everything that you say. We're a gun culture. Most of us that carrying those guns are carrying those guns because we're trying to protect our families and our property when we're out in Columbus or we're in the surrounding area. Okay?
People, yeah, it's going. And then we're not even including. We're talking about people murdered. They're dead right now. Now, if you want to get into, let me tell you something. In Georgia, we don't have an attempt. There's no such thing as attempted murder charge. It's aggravated assault. Aggravated assault basically means you get charged with aggravated assault means you try to kill somebody and they didn't die on that. So let me tell you something. Just go on the watch page at night. Poor Stacy at night. I mean, we must have, in addition to the 3 murders in 3 days, we must have every single night. We must have a half a dozen
multiple
shots fired.
People
shot. People. We're not talking about people that were wounded.
Do you think that the people that work over at the medical center in San Francisco and all that stuff, that work in the emergency room and the triage units and the emergency the surgery, the emergency surgery, that they're not taking statistics down there, Mayor? They've got the statistics on who's coming in. Okay, you may not report it, but those statistics are out there as to how many people are being shot.
I've got
the new sheriff just said, hey, we got 60 murderers here in the jail. We're at overcrowding numbers. And you're still spouting off this, we're a gun culture, we're delusional, it's really not that bad. Well, look. Here's the deal, people. The mayor's not going to say anything that's not going to pump her resume up because she's got to try and run here next year or the year after in 4 years for some office, trying to get Atlanta. And she doesn't want anything on record that can be turned around and used against her that's going to cost her votes, okay? And that's what this is all about. It's all about votes, okay? It's all about the perception. There's nothing here to see. Columbus is totally safe. Well, I said this online the other day. We're waiting on the first well-to-do old money Columbus family that loses a family member up in Green Island Hills or one of the affluent neighborhoods off of, up by the country club or something up in there off of Hilton Avenue or something. They get carjacked and killed. They get their house. There's already been the mansion up there there was a home invasion where that police officer was almost shot, or he was shot, trying to go in there and get that guy. And that was in broad daylight. No one's buying it. No one is buying it. Okay? So get off of it and let's start talking about some issues that are going to change things. And here's how it's going to change. And see, the mayor's not going to talk about this stuff, but because change is going to have to start in the family and change is going to have to start in the neighborhood. Okay? And she's not going to say anything that's going to piss off her political base. Okay? Because if she upsets those people, she can't count on their votes. And she don't want anybody up there in Atlanta reading anything about down here, And folks, you're not hearing about half of what's going on in the city at night. I can tell you that right now. You're not reading about it. You're not seeing it on TV. And some of the coverage on TV is so bad that yesterday, during the shooting on 4th Avenue, you had one news station out here. Well, we're standing in the street here, and, half of the Columbus Police Department and some of the sheriff's departments down here, but we're on the scene of a possible shooting. It's possible that somebody was shot. And what, you think half the police force shows up?
And there, I believe,
because of a possible shooting?
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, I think there literally was somebody laying dead in the road when that was
I can't confirm that, but I know that there was a lot of upset people, and all you had to do was listen to the news coverage from WRBL to find out what was really going on. WRBL is not afraid to tell you what's really going on, okay? They were the first on the scene. They got a reporter out there. They started covering it. And this ridiculous liberal, we're not going to tell you what's really going on. That assistant manager down there at WTVM that does those editorials from week to week, why don't you talk about the crime in Columbus? Why don't you talk about these neighborhoods where people have drug dealers hanging out and drug dealers are shooting drug dealers? Okay, it's not because we're a gun culture. It's because we've got a bunch of lazy people that don't want to work and want to wait for the government to give them everything they got,
Well, every time, am I correct? Am I incorrect? I won't say every time, but the vast majority of times when I see somebody who's arrested on one of these murders or these major crimes, what's one of the charges? Convicted felon in possession of a firearm.
Yeah, and is it being prosecuted? Probably not.
No, and they did not go down there.
They had a new one the other day. It was a man in possession. It said something along the lines of in possession. He committed a crime, robbery, burglary, or something, but he was in possession of a firearm and he wasn't supposed to have one. Now that's a new one on me. I've never heard that. In possession of a firearm by a person that's not supposed to have a gun. So that's a new one.
Well,
I think some of these parents that are allowing their kids to get to their firearms need to be prosecuted. And I think it needs to be followed up in the news that these juveniles, when they get caught with a gun, okay, it's either a family gun or it's a stolen gun.
Okay, and we're getting into the crux of the issue here. And you know what? If we don't recognize what the real problem is, if we put our head in the sand and we pretend, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. And one of those problems, a huge problem we have here in Muscogee County and in the Chattahoochee Valley, is criminals are not stupid. Okay, there are some of them that are stupid, but the smart ones, the professional criminals, they know that what they're doing. Why do you think we have a rampant, it is out of control juvenile crime problem? Now, when I say juvenile crime, I'm not talking about Opie and the boys in Mayberry stealing apples and throwing them at the light. I'm talking about murder, robbery, rape, home invasion, car theft, aggravated assault, shootings, knifing, stabbings, gang activity, serious stuff. We see what happens, people. Now, maybe just people just don't want to talk about this. Is what they know, because this is the way the courts. And I'm pro court system on this. I'm for it. But what happens is, under our laws in the state of Georgia, is that when you have a minor, somebody that's under the age of 17, a 16-year-old, and that 16-year-old goes and does something, there may be an ability where they can be charged as adults sometime. But when they are taken into custody, they're treated as a juvenile, and that juvenile can be turned over to any family member who is 18 or older. Just simply turned over to them. And so we have people, and if you don't believe me, go down to Recorder's Court. Go down to Recorder's Court and sit there, and you will see. I challenge you to go to the Muscogee County Recorder's Court. They have an 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they have a 3:15, I think, and then they have a 4 o'clock every day, and they have a Saturday one. Go down there and see, and you will see consistently where people are brought in, and what happens. They come in there, and it's let's say it's a Friday or Monday, and they got caught this last weekend breaking into cars or home invasion. And you know what? They're already out on bond or out on some recognizance thing from what they did the previous week before. So what these guys are doing, guys and gals, people that are adults, that they don't want to get in trouble, so they get a little gang of these juveniles, and they go out and do the work out there. They go out and do the home invasions, the car and the shootings, and to be big men and big women, and then they come back to their bosses and to their and I'm gonna tell you another one too. If you don't think the school system has a problem, the school system right now, our schools have 800,000 kids in them. And even with, they have a very good security system. They have cameras, and the teachers work very hard. But with that many students, they cannot monitor every student there. And they're having, and this is I can document this fact. They're having students that come to high schools. They're coming to high school. They get off the bus. They're bussed in on that. They come there. They get to the school. They sneak off, go to an adjacent neighborhood, break into cars, break into houses, get stuff, run back over to school, stash it in the woods or in their cars, and then go back to school. And they say, where you been? You've been out of class for 2 classes. Well, you're going to get suspended for that. And this happens all the time. I had somebody the other day ask me, I was passing by a local high school, and I saw an adult wearing a pair of camouflage pants. Just like
not camouflage.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? So I called the school security, and I said, there's an adult, and he had 2 cell phones, literally, one in each ear. And I said, there's a suspicious adult. He's wearing camo pants, and he's on school property, and he's walking around. And I had somebody come back on my neighborhood watching, and they said, so what are you doing? I don't camo pants. Mine, blah, blah, blah. Am I criminal? So I said, ignorance. Guess what? In the Muskogee County, all right, camo gear of any kind, like camo bandanas, camo pants, shirts, purses, wallets, nothing is allowed. They've even taken away the camo for the junior ROTC to wear. Why? Because that is a gang color. There are gangs now that wear that as
we
their
do
color.
have we do have that big gang here in Columbus that does wear camouflage all the time. It's called the United States Army. Yeah. But anyway,
but we got to recognize these problems.
So hey, I'm gonna let Joe talk for another second because honestly, this gear I am burning up in it and I'm getting out of it. I just wore it in to make a I don't know what's the correct name, to make a point.
Hey,
right, to give you a visual on how ridiculous it is over here in Columbus, and right now I'm burning up, and I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm burning up. So I'm getting out of this for a minute, but take it away for a minute, Joe.
I'll do it.
Let me do a uniform change.
Absolutely. Ginger just wrote in there, they can't get jobs. They don't know how to walk with their pants pulled up. They don't speak English either. Should be able to let my child wear. Okay, Marshall says should be able to let my child whatever I like to. No, you can't, man. The public school is a public school. Now you can let your child or you wear whatever you want on your property environment. When we go to a public school, that is the public property. That's what we are. You have or I have. None of us have a right to drive on the roads. They are the property of the state of Georgia. You're issued a driver's license by the state of Georgia, and it can be taken away by the state of Georgia. That's a common misconception. Where you get freedom versus your individual right. Sure, hey, all the power to you. Your kid can dress however they want on your home, your property, or out. And people say, oh, what about in a public place like the mall? The mall is not a public place. The mall is a private business open to the public. There is a difference. There is a huge difference on that. And the school system has the right through the vote. We have an elected school district. The school district and the school district officers have instituted a policy of dress that they have of what people can and can't wear. If you don't want your kid to go to school there, then you need to leave and go to another state or go to another city on that. If you don't like the way the school district's rules are, then you need to campaign and get somebody on the committee on the school district that will vote the way you think. Yeah. But right now, we are citizens, and this is a republic, not a democracy.
Well, Joe, I mean, to be honest, I don't think the problem in Columbus the problem in Columbus is not what we're letting kids wear to school. The problem is, and this was brought up by African American, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but on a page that I was following yesterday, he made a very good point. I believe it was an African American gentleman, and he said, until the people in the neighborhoods and these families are ready to kick the drug dealers and the gangbangers and the criminals out of their neighborhoods, and they're ready to stand up and make a stand and support the police department, there's not going to be any kind of real change, no matter what. So I got to echo that. If you don't want the drug dealers in your neighborhoods, I don't care what neighborhood it is, at some point, somebody's got to stand up in that neighborhood. And I think we go back and we talk to the families. The families have to make a decision that we're not going to support criminals. We're not going to look the other way. We're not going to allow criminals to stay in our homes. We're not going to let them to come around and do their business in our neighborhoods. And once we secure, the families are safe, then we can secure the neighborhoods. The neighborhoods can be safe again, but it's going to take some work. And is it going to happen overnight and it's going to happen magically across Columbus? No, it's not. But there's nothing that says you can't go out in your neighborhood, wherever you're at, and start working on it. And there's leaders out there. If you don't want to take it from me, I'm not going to be your leader. I don't have the time to lead everybody. I don't have the time to come fix your neighborhood. This is America. You got to stand up and grab yourself by the bootstraps and pull yourself up and do it for yourself.
Wendy, I cannot agree with you more. Wendy said that his problem is parents don't care. Let me tell you something. I was a law enforcement officer for 13 years. We were both former law enforcement officers. And my wife was a teacher. And my wife told me, now I'll use her. My wife was a teacher, and my wife told me she would call parents, not in a negative way, to like, I'm concerned about, your child. And you know what they would tell her? They'd say, hey, you know what? I pay your salary. When they're with you, they're your problem. They're your problem. That's what we have. I, as a police officer, would take kids home, and the parents would say the same thing to me. Oh, well, kids got to make mistakes. And I said, make mistakes. They can't break the law. And that's a key. We have so much misconception in this country about, we live, this is not an anarchy. We talk about, this also gets into just not just freedom of speech and rights. We talk about rights, okay? I have the right to carve a swastika in my forehead with a knife. Should I do that? I don't think so. On that.
Only if your name is Charlie.
Yeah, and if you want to look like Charles Manson or something like that. So we have to ask ourselves. There's got to be limits on things. And when we have, so says, well, children, that's the problem. They can do whatever they want to do. No, they can't do whatever they want to do. And parents can't do whatever they want to do. And citizens, we are choosing to live in a society. And there are rules in that society. If you don't want to live in the society, and I'm saying that rhetorically to everybody, then you need to move. You need to go to another country. You need to move out in the middle of nowhere. Go to Alaska from the Alaskan bush people or something up there.
Yeah, don't go to Alaska because one of these days I want to retire up there. I want to go
But
out.
if you live in Muskogee County, if you live in Chattahoochee Valley, we have laws. And you know what? Those laws, the police are often pointed to. The police are not the law. Police are law enforcement officers. The courts are not the law. The law is the legislature of Georgia or the legislature of Alabama. They're the people that make the law, and they can change the law. And they can. If the legislature of Georgia went into session tomorrow and they decided that armed robbery was no longer a felony offense, and they passed that, that would be the law on that, whether we like that or not. And so, and what I'm a little bit of my soapbox right now, but I'm going to tell you something out there. Is look out, I am.
Is that tied or is that?
It's tied.
Okay.
And that is, what? I ask this to people: why are you not getting active in your local government? I go down to city council all the time, and you know what? When the city council meeting starts, the room is filled, and most of it, 75% of it, are the kids that have come there to do the invocation and the opening, and their parents and their grandparents, and then some people getting some awards. And by the time we get down to city business, there's probably 5 or 6 people. And there were 5 or 6 people. We have the second largest city in Georgia. There's 5 or 6 people. And it's the same 5 or 6 people every week, just consistently.
But do people in Columbus, do they get a chance to get up and say their piece?
They do. They do. I'll tell you how you do that. If you want to know how you do that, you call 311, the Citizen Service Committee number, and you tell them you want to get on the city agenda. To get on the Tuesday agenda, which the council meeting is every Tuesday. We have 3 day ones in the morning, we have 1 at night, so everybody has a chance on that. You have to call the Friday preceding the council meeting at least the Friday preceding council meeting that you want to be on. And all you have to do is tell them, they'll say, I want to be on the agenda, and they'll say, and what do you want to talk about? You don't have to go into, you can say, I want to talk about crime. I want to talk about education. I want to talk about my thoughts about property taxes. And they have to give you 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a hot topic.
5 minutes on that. And so what happens is they will put you on the agenda, and they'll go down the list, and they'll sit there and they'll say, Joe Coley, and then Joe Coley gets up, and you go on the camera. Now, you're going to be on camera, and you're on citywide camera. People will see you, and then you can see your name, so you can't hide on that like people do on anonymous email notes, like Mavis and people like that. And you get 5 minutes. And now the council has the time to extend it. They have time to give you.
Did you see the article or something in the paper? I think it was the paper or something.
Chuck, how you doing?
But they said the tax people that are responsible for this mess with the property taxes said that they did not want to have to come to any more meetings where they were being abused by the citizens or taking grief from the citizens. Well, you know what? Don't they work for the city?
Exactly. You know what?
And don't they work for the people?
This is Joe's opinion, but I'm a taxpayer. I'm a citizen of this country and of this city, and I'm a taxpayer here. And anybody should be able to do this. To our elected officials, as long as you comply with a law. In other words, you're not up there threatening them, physically threatening them like that. You're not using profanity, and you're staying within decorum on that. We have the right to say anything we want to our elected officials, and if it's too bad, they need to get. If it's too hot in the kitchen, get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I've been involved in politics for 40 years. I can tell you right now that if you got thin skin, don't go into politics. I've called numerous times and talked to numerous administrations, and sometimes I've had them say like, well, I just don't like getting these negative calls. Well, I'm sorry, that's just too bad. You take the office, you got to take all of it. It's not an encounter group; it's government, and you're going to get that. But it's the same thing up there in Alabama. And so you know what? This is another thing here. We've all got kind of hey, we keep saying what would we say, like 25, 26 murders and stuff like that.
At least.
But we've got to add those over in Phoenix City, Russell Lee County. I mean, it's not like just because there's a river right there, that doesn't affect our crime. We're in the Chattahoochee Valley, so I don't even know how many they've got in Russell Lee County.
You mean the state line and the river?
It's not
keeping the
it's
criminals.
Not a magical wall.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it doesn't actually everything stop. And I guarantee you, if we've got 12, I don't know what it is. If there's 12 murders over in Russell Lee County, and we have 25 here. Well, you know what? Let's add that together. That's 37. Okay, so that means we have 37 in the area. And it's like, well, we only have 25. I can take a rock. Well, I can't think where I can take an arrow and shoot it over the river. And you're matter of fact, you all know. I'm sure you know that when you cross the river, you're still in Georgia. Georgia, that
for a couple of steps.
100 feet. 100 feet. It's actually 100 feet is what from the low water mark into Alabama, and that goes back to when Columbus was founded. And the reason they did that is that we moved all the Indians over into Alabama, and we didn't want them to have access to the water. So we said, okay, that's still Georgia. So they had to go further west to get water. But that's neither here nor there. But hey, Lakeisha Stringer, how you doing? And thank you for coming on there. I know Lakeisha,
Miss Lakeisha?
She's a sweetie.
Miss 13th Amendment? Did I get that right?
Yes, I think that is.
She's going to hit me with an order.
On that. She's a sweetheart. I know her. She's good. And she's a veteran. Thank you for your service.
She is a veteran.
Yes, an honorable veteran. Thank you for all y'all's service out there. But, we're just saying what's going on. Come on, everybody. We got a great community here in the Chattahoochee Valley. We can take care of our problems, and we can do it in a positive way. But if we have politicians that bury their head in the sand and try to pretend, let's see, Kimberly says, Eric, let's talk about the mayor's latest rhetoric about guns. Don't own guns, don't hang out with gun owners, and you won't get shot. Talk about delusional.
I know Joe's got a bunch of guns. I've been rumored to have one or two. Most of my military veteran buddies all have guns, And our biggest thrill is not to go out and see what we can shoot up on a Saturday night or Friday night or whatever. Go out this afternoon and shoot. Now, I know there's a lot of people that think it's a national state sport over in the state of Alabama to go shoot road signs and stuff, but it's not. Okay, it's actually quite dangerous. But the bottom line is, law-abiding citizens are not creating this crime. Okay, we're not all getting out and getting pissed off at Donald Trump and Antifa and whatever, Confederate monuments and taxes and going just shooting Columbus all up. Okay, we have a criminal element that thinks it's okay to do that.
Hello, Sandy.
And until people acknowledge the fact that there is a problem, we'll never get to a solution.
Exactly.
And, if the mayor can't handle it, if she can't handle the heat, maybe she needs to turn it over to somebody that can, and then she can go plan her next political race, because her credibility, and I want everybody to go out, and I might have said this last week or whatever, but I want you to look up the word relevant. Relevant. The mayor is taking every opportunity she can to get her face on TV to remain relevant. Okay? But every time she opens her mouth and she says this ridiculous stuff that gun owners are responsible for crime and that they're shooting up their neighbors and blah, 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 she loses credibility and she loses votes.
Tom, is that better? I just, he's turned the volume a little bit. I just turned it up.
So, gun owners are not the problem. Okay, the gun culture is not the problem. The problem is we have people that think it's okay to commit crimes because either they're not worried about the consequences or they just don't care anymore. So that's my view on that.
You talk for a second, Sasha.
But yeah, if you followed these stories here the last couple of days, especially yesterday, you saw a massive amount of Columbus police officers pulled into a neighborhood to have to deal with it. You saw the sheriff's department come in. You saw the bomb truck come in, and for the poor people down at WTVM, we just lost. Okay, I got it back. The bomb truck down there was not because there was a bomb. Okay, that robot can be used.
Welcome, Frank.
The robot can be used to go in, and the camera system can be used to keep a person from having to go in and clear a building. Okay, so there was no bomb or anything. They were just using the robot to protect life. Okay, but all those assets were tied up for that amount of time because of a couple drug dealers, getting upset with each other. And it's just one day. Just one day. Now, how about this idea? How about we start having a dialogue and people in individual neighborhoods? You've already started out there. I already know. People in Tanglewood, people in Windsor Village and all these other places, people in Alabama and stuff have started to see the light and said, look, we're starting in our own homes. We're starting in our neighborhoods. We're going to start to look out for each other. We're going to make a difference. Okay? Fine. But you need to hold the elected people accountable. There was a gentleman that used to work with the Phoenix City, the city over there, and we'll just call him Mr. Greg. And Mr. Greg came and gave us a very interesting post that last Friday night at either a football practice or a scrimmage or something, you had people showing up with that caused problems, and there was supposedly down, right there at Garrett Harrison Stadium, there was some gunplay in the parking lot around McDonald's and that shopping center over there. Okay, people shooting in public at a school event. Not one word in the media, not one word from the police department, not one word from the city, and you didn't hear anything about it. Why is that? Why is that? Because it wasn't newsworthy? Our kids go to a function and they're playing sports at an approved location, and doing something they've been doing for years, at a huge complex that millions of dollars been spent on, and you've got a shopping center right across, Piggly Wiggly and everything down over there, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, gas stations in the area, a huge parking lot where everybody parks, and we have gunplay and not one word from anybody. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we need more citizens in Phoenix City joining groups like the Watch or your own neighborhood watch or whatever. And if we can't get people to tell us about what's going on, then we're going to have to tell each other about what's going on. We can't rely on the media to tell us because they don't have the manpower to come out and cover everything, and they don't have the logistics to hear everything like you, the individual citizen, can hear it. If it happens in your neighborhood, you're going to know about it. If your friend calls you up and says, oh, there's 20 police cars in my neighborhood, what's going on? Or I wanted to tell you that we got 20 police cars in our neighborhood, don't come over, something's going on, then people are going to hear about it. And most of the stuff that you find out about is because the media got a tip from some citizen or something, and they're calling and asking about it. And if they're lucky enough, they get some kind of answer from whatever law enforcement agency that they're talking to. Now, some of this stuff is so public and so many people see it that there's no choice. There has to be some kind of announcement or something. But I'm telling you, the change is going to come with the people in the individual areas, in the neighborhoods, and in the cities. I don't care what side of the river you're on. I don't care if you're all the way over there in Auburn. I don't care if you're in Opelika. I don't care if you're in Fort Mitchell. If you're in the backwaters off of 379 going up towards, Beulah, Beauregard, the list of people that we've got coming are growing. The network is growing every single day. I'm telling you today, I'm asking for more good people in the Phoenix City area, surrounding the Phoenix City area. I don't care if you're up on North Somerville Road. I don't care if you're on South Seal Road.
Welcome, Josh McCoon.
I don't care where you're at. If we can't get it covered by any other means, then we'll cover it by word of mouth. If we've got to get two cans and a string together, then we'll get two cans and a string. We'll pass the word. It may be a little bit later, you may, like when Mr. Gregg, we heard about it a week later, but at least we're hearing about it, and parents are discussing it and saying, wow, maybe we don't want our kids going up to the football game on Friday night if we're going to have gunplay in the parking lot.
My God, you know what? I don't know about y'all, but I don't mean to be melodramatic, but I feel the necessity when I go out at night, at 9 o'clock at night, to put my garbage out to carry a pistol. I mean, it's gotten that bad. I mean, it really has gotten that bad. I want to thank, we've got several of our elected officials that are on right now. Frank Myers in the school district, from the school board, Senator Josh McCoon, who's also running for Secretary of State's office, and we appreciate them looking at that. It's gotten out of control. And the thing is the people of the Chattahoochee Valley, the good people far outnumber these little thugs.
Oh yeah.
On that, but they get mollycoddled and treated like little babies. And then I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about how they're out committing crime because they're of injustices in society. They're out committing crime because they're pieces of trash. And that's the bottom line. And when are people going to sit there and say, we're having at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're having people gunned down in the street? People, I heard somebody the other day say something like, "Oh, this is like the old West." The Old West didn't have that. The Old West didn't have people gunned down in the street. That's TV on that. I mean, they have laws then too. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then what's amazing is I see people gunned down the street, and the people that do the gunning down the street, it's always the people too that get killed. Are always these outstanding citizens, that were never did anything to anybody. And there are sometimes there's some innocent people, but what the mayor's talking about, the gun culture, I resent that. I absolutely resent that. My grandmother carried a pistol in her purse. I grew up. Yes, this is the South. We grew up with guns, hunting guns, all kind of guns. And I can tell you what, we had more guns. I'm almost 60 years old. We had more guns when I was a child. Around. I used to drive to school in a pickup truck and had a shotgun in the 30-30, a loaded shotgun 30-30 on a gun rack.
No.
Not because of gang violence, it's because it was our hunting guns that we had on there. But that was to school on that. Today if you have I actually know of a case that somebody brought a little plastic, like you get out of a gumball machine, literally like a little plastic pistol about that,
right.
And got suspended and taken out of school for that. It's just gone too much, and welcome LM. But you know what? And Susan, you said it. What we can do about this, one thing we can do about this is we need to be the eyes and ears of law enforcement. That's how people say, what are we going to do? We're short everywhere. No, we're not. We're not short. We're short officers, but we're not short of us. On that, if we in our neighborhoods, and here's one of the things, years and years ago, I was always, they don't do it anymore. Think back, there was a time, and Eric, you probably remember this, on the sides of police cars, it used to say, emergency, dial 911. And they took off the emergency on that. You know why? And now, if you call 911 in Columbus, they'll say, 911, what is your emergency? But let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be an emergency. I know people right now that go look out and they say, well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. There's some guy walking down my street with a bag on that. He's not really doing, he or she's not really doing anything. So I guess it's not an emergency, so I shouldn't call. No, call. This is a former police officer telling you, Anna Debbie Schiff. Call 911 and tell them.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're not, believe it or not, and I don't mean to sound facetious right now, the officer is not going to go up to that person and go, yeah, you want to know who called? It was Joe Cole. He lives in the house right over there, and that's his address, and here's his phone number. They don't do that. They're going to go out there and they're going to say, excuse me, they're going to stop and say, sir, can I help you?
Yeah.
And they're going to say, and you know what? If that person lives in North Columbus and they're in Oakland Park, and they say they're out taking a walk, they're going to go, well, you live off of Williams Road, 21 miles from here, and you're out taking a walk in Oakland Park?
We've got a post that came in about what I was talking about last Friday, and the post says basically, Mr. Gregg says that McDonald's was forced to close and lock their doors. There was so much stuff going on out in the parking lot. Now, that's ridiculous that a business has to close down because we have lawlessness going on, you know. So what do we need? Do we need roving patrols in the parking lots? Do we need security guards? Do we need, or do we just need to rein in some of this, you know, ridiculous behavior? But again, I'm telling you, there's no extra police officers coming over the hill. The cavalry's not coming. Nobody wants their taxes raised.
We are the cavalry.
The only people that can make a difference are the people in the community.
All of us.
Starts in your home, starts in your neighborhood, starts in your city. And don't be discouraged if you're one of those people that wants to stand up and you have somebody talking you down or telling you, like, I'm still fighting the battle. I'm still fighting this battle, okay? I saw a law enforcement officer yesterday at a school walk past a car that was parked in a handicapped parking space. No license tag, no state license tag that said they were handicapped, no hang tag. It was somebody just too darn lazy that wanted to park up near the door and go get their kids because they felt that's how important they were, you know. We don't care about the handicap. We're just going to park where we want to. So, you know, I'm thinking the next time I go get the kids at my school, I think maybe I'll just drive my truck right up to the front door on the grass and park up there and see if that gets anybody's attention. I mean, it's ridiculous that we've gotten to the place in a society where we don't the rule of law doesn't apply to us. That a sign that was put up by the state or by a city municipality is not going to be enforced by either the school or law enforcement. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, are there worse crimes going out there that they need to focus on? Yeah. But when you got a law enforcement officer right there in the parking lot and he just walks by, but you know, I didn't see it.
But you know, that brings an issue on that. And I'm talking to everybody out there. And I'm not telling you or suggesting something that I don't do because I do this. You need to know. If you need to find out, we'll help you find out. You need to know who either your council person is, or you need to know who your commissioner is, if you have a commission, and you need to have their phone numbers, and you need to have phone numbers of the chief of police and of the sheriff, and you need to call and get mad. I'm not saying, or get angry. I'm not saying be disrespectful, but call and tell our elected officials, call them on the phone and say, hey, you know what? That's your job to get this done. And if you can't get it done, we're going to fire you, and we're going to put some new people in there. And if they don't do it, we'll fire them. It can work, and people are not doing that. And we need to watch out for each other. We need to watch out for our neighbors. I'll give you a good example of something we were talking about too. Tell you about the criminal mentality. All right, years ago, but it's the same. I was a deputy sheriff, and there were some people that had robbed a convenience type store, and after they robbed the store, we caught them, and I was telling these were juveniles, and I made the point. I asked them. I said, why did you pick that particular store? That particular store was right up on the road. Lots of people saw you. It was easy to find you. So there's that other convenience store that's about a mile down the road. That's very much in the back there. There's a lot of access roads. You could have taken off. And, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that it would have been very, very difficult for you to find. You know what they said to me? They said, because we grew up in this neighborhood. The guy that runs that one back there, he's got a gun. He'll blow your head off. I mean, if we shot him with his dying moment, he would sit there clawing to shoot us. And so he goes, because you know what? These are not brave people. These are cowards that are out doing that. And you know what? One of the big things is think about this, everybody out there. What do we live in today? All of us. We live in an environment of fear. We're afraid. We're afraid we're going to this is going to happen. We're afraid we're going to lose our job. We're afraid of what we say. We're afraid we're going to get broken into. We're afraid we're going to do this. We got to stop being afraid. We got to start being afraid and make them afraid.
Yeah.
We got to go from being the hunted to being the hunters.
Well, I think some people are afraid to speak out on social media too, because they're like, oh, I'll get negative comments. Who cares? It's social media. What are they going? They going to bend your dog tags?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Are they going to take your dessert at dinner time?
What are you going to do? Sue me? I got a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'll sue you.
I mean, I had Mrs. Butler, back in February, took out a warrant for my arrest and got me arrested for 3 hours, okay, because she was upset about some post I made. Who cares, okay? So I went to jail for 3 hours. Ooh, I'm very upset that, I was down at Russell County and I missed breakfast. I didn't get to try the fried bologna because I hear it's pretty good down there. But anyway,
Sorry.
I'm not going to let somebody, by their actions in the community, make other people miserable that have been serving, the county for 25 years doing a job and hardly no complaints. I'm not going to let somebody harass school teachers because their daughter didn't make captain of the volleyball team or something like that. I'll take on anybody, anywhere, anytime, anything they want to discuss. If they get upset, whatever. If you can't, you want to stoop to little tactics and stuff and try and have somebody, smeared in the, whatever. My time's coming.
And
my time's coming.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you something too. And I know you say, "Oh, Joe, it's big talk." He's sitting there, and you probably don't. I'm telling you something. Listen to me for a minute. I'll tell you about the criminal mentality out there. All right. I understand. I appreciate and understand a lot of people. I would talk to them when they were victims. They say, I want to say something, but I'm afraid they're going to come back. Let me tell you something. I understand that fear, and that's a real fear, and it's a real concern. And I understand, especially if you're an older person or a single parent or something like that. But let me tell you something about the low-life criminals. They feed on that, and you know what? I can tell you that if they think that they can do that, if they think they can do stuff around you, and you're not going to report them, you're not going to point out the finger, you're not going to testify against them, it ain't going to get any better. They're not going to leave you alone. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. You got to be able to say, "Hey, you want to know who did it? That guy right there, that woman right there, they're the ones. I saw them and I'll testify." Yeah, they may say, "Yeah, our gangs will come back and get you." You'll say, "Well, you better shoot. You better shoot very accurately, because you know what? I got a gun too." And I am no way advocating vigilantism. I'm no way advocating taking the law in your own hands. I'm advocating us as a community helping our law enforcement officers, we've got a great law enforcement community, helping them and helping each other to take back our community. Take back our community, because it's our community. My children were born here. My grandchildren were born here. My father and relatives are buried here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving to Harris County or moving up south or north. I'm here. I'm here for the duration.
Well, I mean, next week, just to let everybody know, we're meeting with some people. We're thinking about launching some live coverage of events in the future. We're gonna war game it. We're gonna work it out, and
hold some people accountable.
Yeah, we're gonna start showing up and stuff. I know that last week you caught it was about a week ago. You had some knucklehead show up at the bank robbery, and stuff, and try and tell you what was going on. But one person can't begin to cover everything that's going on. So we're going to need a team or stuff. So, and we're looking at having teams of people, that can cover East Alabama, down in Fort Mitchell. I mean, this group is growing so much that we've got people, starting to branch out 60 miles out,
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I guarantee you, and it's the same thing in Russell County and Lee County as in Muskogee County. I guarantee you that, because I've been there at the Columbus City Council, if 20, not 2,000, not 200, if 20 people show up for something, their butts tighten because they go, oh gosh, what's going on here? And they all get, we're gonna check right into that, blah, 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 because they don't like that, because people don't do that. And let me tell you something. I used to work. I don't know if they still do it, but when I was in college, I was a what do you call it? A little peon clerk or whatever for Congressman Page, and just up there learning free, doing it for free. But I learned one thing up there. Guess what? And I know that many still do this. Do you know that even our United States congressmen, they have what's called the Rule of Five. And now they'll never tell you this. They'll never admit this. But you know what the Rule of Five is, Eric? The Rule of Five is when you call in to the congressman or congresswoman, and you have an issue, they'll say, "Oh, thank you. You know, this is this. We're very concerned about," and you'll get a form letter back on that. No matter, you definitely will on that. But they keep a record of that. And when 5 different people, call in about that same thing, that's the Rule of Five. Then they assign it to an actual person starts looking into it and seeing what's going on. And that's the same thing. Because I ask you. We all talk about crime. It's like what was it? Benjamin Franklin said we always complain about the weather, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Well, we've got to with our elected officials, and and they are that Concerned Citizens Forum, and Facebook. I guarantee you they read that.
Oh yeah,
they're on there
without a doubt. Let me tell some people on our page or other pages and stuff. I'm not going to burn her down again, but I'm just going to say certain elected people in the area, okay, have got their little professional trolls out there to do damage control. Okay, if you come out and you flame somebody for something legitimate or stuff, they'll be coming right back at you with, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's look at the statistics, this, that, or whatever," and they're going to try and close you down. But the bottom line is, social media is not controlled by anybody. Okay, there's no sheriff that controls Facebook or social media. There's no government officials and stuff that control what you say. As long as you do not defame somebody or make up just vicious lies that hurt their employment or something like that, or you threaten them with some type of bodily harm or make threats against their life or something, you can pretty much say whatever's on your mind. Okay.
Tom just asked a question. Tom, I'm not an attorney, but like I said, I'm a law enforcement officer. I've taught law, and I work in the court system now. And I'll tell you that my interpretation of the law is this in the state of Georgia is that if you or anybody else, if you have reasonable belief in your mind that someone is about to do you or somebody in your immediate vicinity great bodily harm, you can use any means at your disposal to protect yourself.
Let's put it another way.
And what I mean by that is let's be realistic. I mean, if somebody's 25 feet away from you, and they've got a tire iron, they're not an immediate threat to you.
Let me break it down.
If they're walking towards you with a tire and say, "I'm going to bash your head in,"
if you're contemplating using force or deadly force, when he says reasonable, would 12 of your peers on a jury think what you did was reasonable, and would they do something similar or the same thing had it happened to them?
Actually, can I interrupt on that? Actually, you know what's really great about our system? Actually, in those 12 jurors, only one. You only have to be acquitted. Only one has to plead.
What I'm saying is, and I don't know all the details of your situation, but just say you, for whatever reason, you're walking on the side of the road, somebody stopped with a mask on or something and tried to accost you or assault you or something, and you attempted to back away, and you were observed backing away and saying, "Stay back, I'm armed," or "Stay back," and this guy kept coming at you with a tire iron, and at some point you couldn't back up anymore, and you defended yourself by shooting this individual, and that was observed, then I would think that 12 reasonable people would say, "Look, he was trying to back away from the confrontation, but this guy kept coming. Something, and let's change it. Say you were in your front yard, and you attempted to go into your house, and the guy kicked the door in. Okay, once he crosses that threshold, I would think that it's reasonable to assume that 12 other people would assume that you were defending your home and your life once you're inside your house. Now, you can actually defend yourself outside your house, but I'm just saying, you kind of got to understand that you've got to make it idiot-proof, that even the most liberal anti-gun person would have to admit that what you did, you were trying to defend your property, your life, the life of somebody else.
Let me give you an example. I'll give you a real life example of where you can get in trouble. Where you can't get in trouble. This is an actual case that I was involved in, and there was an individual that was sitting on their porch, and there was a psychotic person. This is a real case. That came walking down the road. They had a little picket fence in the front, and this person did not know the victim, and came in to this person's yard, grabbed, this is a man, an older man, and literally just beat him senseless, almost, the victim. And then he turned around and started walking away. Well, the victim got up, went into his house, went up a flight of stairs, pulled a pistol out of a dresser, loaded it, came down the stairs, went out of his house, out of his yard, walked down the road, and the guy turned around and he shot him. That guy was convicted. The victim was convicted of manslaughter because they said that person was not a threat. He was going to go kill him. He wasn't a threat.
Well, at some point he goes from being defensive to offensive.
Offensive.
So that's what.
Yeah. But like you said, and I so appreciate what they're saying. Better try, better 12 than care by 6. That's a thing we always said as police officers. Is actually it's an interesting point, Eric. Still in the state of Georgia, it is actually against the law. It is a criminal offense in the state of Georgia to conceal your identity, to wear a mask. That goes back to the Ku Klux Klan laws after the Reconstruction because they would wear the hoods. So they passed a law saying that you actually, in the state of Georgia, you cannot wear something unless it's a sporting event or something like that. You can't attempt to conceal your identity on that.
Right.
That is a misdemeanor, but it is a criminal offense. But using your sound judgment. I mean, hey. Let me say something. If somebody's on your property and I don't care if it's 10 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the evening, and they're making threatening gestures. We live in a society enough. We've got. I know a lady. Again, a case less than probably 3 months old. Earlier this summer, there was a case. A lady lived across the street from Brookstone in the Brookstone subdivision, and I think it was 9:30 in the morning. She had an alarm system. Actually on, an instant alarm, and a guy all of a sudden she hears, and she looks around the corner, here's a door crashing, and here's a guy coming through her door, knew that she was there, and knew that there was an alarm, and still did that. Well, she had a pistol in there in the kitchen with her, and she turned around and had the pistol, came walking around there, and as she started bringing it up, the guy turned around, saw a pistol, and took off.
Yeah. Well, you got the, and I'm not going to give him a shout out today. I need to talk to him first, but you have a local security company that, not totally a security company, but they're kind of in the security business. But they've taken some video that was actually shot in Columbus. It actually happened in Columbus, and they're using the video from the break-in as part of their advertising for the strike plates and stuff. That because if you don't know. The weakest part of your doors and stuff, or the door jamb, where the locking mechanisms go into the piney wood or whatever that most builders use, that crappy wood, and it doesn't take much force to break that stuff. So what you need to do is you need to take the 3-inch, instead of having little like half-inch screws that are holding the metal parts together and stuff in the door jamb, you need to get 3-inch or 4-inch screws and go in there and run them into the studs and stuff. And you need to get the skip plates, these things called Strike Master or something, skip plates that reinforce the whole locking system into the door jamb, so that you've got like metal reinforcement.
All these things are available at Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yeah.
And there's also a thing you can get on the hinge side of the door. Typically on a door,
the hinges too need to be reinforced with longer screws to hold.
Well, they also have one that's called. So normally they have the 3 hinges, one here, and one here. They have what's called a piano hinge, and it's simply a long hinge. It's like 4 foot long, and it goes on the whole side.
Yeah, my point being that you can see in the video, not being that was on our page, and it was also on some other pages and stuff, and I guess it was good advertising. I don't know how they got the rights to it, but anyway, they're using it as advertising, and you can see the guys kicking the door, and the door that they're kicking the crap out of didn't give away because it had been reinforced.
I also have, and I think you've seen this, it was last year, but I have a clip from a security camera, an indoor security camera that people had that had been broken into 2 or 3 times, and it's especially chilling. It was on Chattahoochee Road, and it was especially chilling because it's a view in there in the living room, and the camera's hidden down on the floor, and you can see the intruder coming in, and he's carrying a pistol in his left hand. He's got a pistol while he's walking through the house.
More and more people are going to these security cameras and stuff, and that gives them a sense of, I guess, well-being and stuff. But for me personally, A security camera is just an after the fact video of what happened in your house, and if you're lucky, they were stupid enough to walk in front of the cameras, with nothing over their face and stuff, and you get a good look at them. But a lot of these videos, they know there's cameras, or they suspect there's cameras, and they've got a T-shirt over their face, or they've got a hoodie on or something, and you're not getting a good. So it's a tool in the toolbox, but it's not going to stop everything just because you got cameras.
Well, the ones I like is what I have. I have cameras, but the cameras have motion detectors on them. And if I'm lying in bed at night, and matter of fact, to show you how well these work, I think it was 5:16 this morning. It sends off a little tone on my, I hear this ding, 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 then it tells me that one of my motion detectors would be my outdoor ones. And I had it set at 30 feet and on that. And I was able to pull up my camera, and I looked up, and sure enough, I saw a couple that was walking, going to rear in the morning. But as soon as they hit on the road, I captured them on that. And so there's a lot of things out there. But I'll tell you, the number one, now this is Joe's opinion, this is my opinion, the number one thing you can do in your neighborhood is know your neighbors and watch out for each other. Be able to go, Eric, I'm going away this weekend, and no one should be in my home. There should be no cars in my driveway. No one.
And that's just something you're telling the neighbor you can trust. That's not something you're putting on social media for everybody to hear. Okay, because people put way too much information out on social media. Way too much information, personal information out on social media. Pictures about new things that you bought, like that 70-inch TV, the new stereo, the new gun, the new car, things of value, the new diamond ring. Ooh, I'm engaged. He just bought me a $4,000, $10,000 ring or something. Way too much information. Now, the military guys know the thing called OPSEC, Operational Security. The wives get briefed on it in the family support group meetings, if they still call it family support group, or whatever they're calling it now. But you got your guys in uniform, you got your women in uniform, and then you got the spouses at home. And especially if they're overseas, they're trained on, you don't tell nobody nothing about what you're doing. Keep the family business in the family, kind of like Don Corleone.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but this is applicable right now. At times, things are applicable. Don't trust people. I mean, and I'm going to tell you something too. You know what? I don't know how much people are aware of serial. Most serial killers don't look like Charles Manson. They look like Ted Bundy on that. And Ted Bundy down in Florida was a law school student. He was a good-looking guy, and that's one way he was able to do it. He had a fake cast that he put on his leg, and he would literally take a bunch of books, and he would walk through a parking lot and drop the books, or he would see a woman, and he'd be like struggling to try to pick the books up, and some kind person would come and say, "Do you need some help, sir?" And he'd say, "Oh, I thank you so much. I have this little Volkswagen over here if you can help me." And he'd give him the Volkswagen, they'd be putting them in, and he'd knock them on the back of the head and then go kill them and stuff like that. So, when you see people, I'm sorry, you know what? I have a thing on my door now. It says no solicitation on that. And, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I don't want, it's private property. And I'm going to go with the theory of better safe than sorry. And let me tell you something. It is a real, Eric will tell you whether you're trying to out. It is a real thing that goes on right now where people come and case your house. They come over there and someone say, "Hi, I'm with the," and this is a Christian ministry. I belong to a Christian ministry, and I'm a Christian. But they come in there and say, "Hey, I want to come and talk to you about scripture and like that." And they're looking at your locks, or looking at your doors, if they can see on the inside, all these kind of things like that.
We've had the discussion for the last 4 or 5 years about I'm just going to call them the Scurvy vacuum cleaner. I'm not saying Kirby, I said Scurvy. Scurvy vacuum cleaner people that come out of Phoenix City and surrounding areas and stuff, and Smith Station and stuff. And I don't know if they're legitimate. I don't know if they're actually trying to sell these $2,000 vacuum cleaners. More power to them. I don't need a $2,000 vacuum cleaner, okay? But some of these people are pretending. Okay, some of these people that have come to the doors are trying to use the scam to give you a little bit of dish soap or carpet cleaner or whatever they can buy, at the cheap store, the dollar store.
Free sample.
Free sample if you let them come in and give you the 2-hour spiel or whatever. everybody knows that the people that are doing the door knocking and stuff are pretty much slave labor, and the only way that they really get paid is if they sell a bunch of vacuum cleaners and they get some of that money. Okay, they're out in the heat, and I feel sorry for them and stuff, but in today's society, if I want you at my home, I will call you and tell you to invite you over and give you a time to be there. Otherwise, I've got a no soliciting sign on my front door, and I'm going to be a little bit more than perturbed, pissed off, rude if you come to my door and you knock on my door, especially after what society says is approved hours. In other words, the sun has gone down, we're having dinner, and it's later than, say, 6 o'clock or something, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it's pitch black out. Sometimes in the wintertime I've heard, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night, somebody's knocking on your door and they want to come in and do the spiel. No, you don't come to somebody's house in the middle of the night, or not the middle of the night, but you don't come after certain hours. Kids are having their baths, they're being put down for, trying to get them settled down to go to bed, or maybe that's when you had them fed and you got their bath and now you're just sitting down to eat your dinner or whatever, or you've got something to work on or something, Monday night football. God help you if you come Monday night and I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Because I'm going to be pissed off. I'm not going to be polite. I've got a sign on the door. Some neighborhoods try and put the signs up depending on where you live. Supposedly in Phoenix City, in the city limits, there's not supposed to be any door-to-door people. It's different in the counties. But the bottom line is, if people didn't give them the time of day, they'd stop doing it because they And what it is they just go through an influx of, they promise these people that need a job and they don't know any better, and they get them out there and they work them in this heat and stuff, walking from door to door to door to door or whatever. Sometimes they skip houses, which I don't understand. It would seem like you'd hit every house, but there's the people that feel like, just like Joe said, they're just trying to get in. And it seems like, after a week to 2 weeks that these people come through a neighborhood, that's when these break-ins start. And I will tell you that the people that do not have garages, that have carports, are more likely to have somebody kick your door in because they can see that there's no cars there and there's probably nobody there. Now, there's things you can do. I play this game. Sometimes I leave my car there and I go with somebody else. Sometimes it looks like I left, but guess what? I'm still home. My truck left. Well, I didn't leave. So you got to be unpredictable. You got to have lights that come on, lights that go off, stereos that come on, stereos that go off. Now, I'm seeing all this stuff that you can operate from your phone now. They got the security systems. You can turn on all the upstairs lights, all the downstairs lights. You can have the TV come on. You can turn on the porch lights, from your phone in another state. If you want to do that kind of stuff, you got to make the criminals look over their shoulder. And, you can do lighting, you can do dogs, you can do security systems, you can do cameras, you can do firearms training, whatever your mind can think of. Now, I've always wanted to put the Constantina wire up and the punji stakes, but I'm told by lawyers that that could lead to legalities and stuff.
I don't know if I brought this up last week on there, but I do want to let everybody know this is a real example that just happened here at the ministry office.
Sandy, you got me. You got me, Sandy. On that, you busted me.
We had our ministry office is on Moon Road, and of course we work with Willie Good Pizza, which is further up on Moon Road, right there at Moon and Widowsley. Well, about 2 weeks ago,
you had to say that. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, we'll get you a pizza. I was at, but this is important. Listen, this is how this happens. I was at the pizza place, and it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And a car, I happened to be standing outside, and the car pulled up. It was a silver Kia, a nice one, not even an old one. And a gentleman stood out. There was a woman sitting in the passenger side, and he was about my age, and he was relatively well dressed, clean cut. And he walked into me and he said, "Is a manager owner or something here?" And I said, "Well, I'm close enough." And he said, "My wife told me I don't want to do this, but she told me this is exactly what I said," because he probably used the same story if you hear this. He goes, "My wife told me to swallow my pride." And then he proceeded to give me this very detailed account of how he was on the way from Mobile to here, and he worked in a ministry, and that their trailer had broken an axle just outside of Phoenix City, and that they'd gone and gotten the spare parts, and blah 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 blah.
Was there violin music playing
yes,
while
yes.
I was talking?
And so he needed $22 on that. So the ministry owns Willie Good, and we and he was very well. And we said, sure, we'll help you out. And we the ministry we gave him $22, and so he left. We said you don't have to pay us back. Good luck, thank you on that. Well, this is what it's kind of funny. It's really kind of funny because just last week, this moron obviously didn't even recognize me because the office for is about a mile down the road. I hear this knock on the door, and I have to be over here. And guess who's at the door? Silver Kia, same guy. And he opens the door, and he honestly doesn't even recognize me. He goes, "Hi, my wife told me to come up here but swallow my pride. I'm on the trip from Mobile here, and our axle broke." I said, "And I bet you need $22." And he kind of looked at me in shock, and I said, "Hey, bud, let me tell you something." I said, "You need to get I'm going to call the Columbus police right now." I said, "Because you're out here scamming people." "Okay, man. Okay," that's what he said. "Okay, man. Okay, I'm gone. I'm gone." So I'm telling you, that's for example. This guy looked like he looked like some scummy guy. He looked like and I thought, this is a perfect scam because this guy he's wearing a button-up shirt, he's got a clean cut, and he probably goes out there and does that to 10 people in a day, and probably gets half of them to give him $20, so he's making $100 a day.
Last week we had the post from I want to say Lee County about some of these people that are coming in the pickup trucks with the cooler on the backs, trying to pretend that they're the Omaha steak people. They're trying to make you believe that they're the same company as Omaha Steaks that sell the supposedly quality meat. But we've been talking about these people for a long time. Some of these pickup trucks look like they barely get down the highway, and in other words, they're not selling quality meat. Okay, they're selling this. I don't know what's grade C, grade D, horse meat, roadkill. Anyway, some people like it. I found that some of this meat we bought one time off the back of a truck was pumped full of water. It tasted like I don't know what. It didn't taste like meat. It didn't have the texture of meat. And we never bought again. We go to places like, I'm sorry, we get some meat from the commissary on Fort Benning. We get meat from Publix or whatever. My wife has a butcher in the area somewhere. She goes for specialty items that she wants steaks cut to a certain thickness and stuff. But we're not buying meat off the back of a truck. I'm sorry. So you might want to look into that. And supposedly some of these people have been very pushy with the elderly or with some women and stuff, not taking no for an answer. If you're still in the business of going door to door, okay, and you're trying to make a living, okay, we don't have an issue with that, okay? If we have a no solicitation sign up, then please don't knock on our doors. But for the people that don't have a sign up and they come to your door and they tell you, well, we're not interested. We don't want to buy. And you keep on and you keep on and you keep on. And this can be the college kids with the books, in the come in the spring or whatever, the wintertime, from overseas or locally, the magazine people. No means no. And don't be upset about closing the door in their face or, calling the police if you can't get them off your property. You don't have to stand there and haggle with people on your own property, okay? That doesn't make you a bad person. So, anyway, well, Joe had to step out for a minute. So I'm going to transition to something real quick that I feel strongly about. And it comes to us by way of over in Auburn. And if you've been following the story, apparently a school teacher took it upon herself to bring a flag. I don't know if it's there's a special name for the flag, the rainbow flag or whatever, the gay pride flag, LBGT or whatever flag. There's been so many different acronyms now lumped together under this flag that I don't know what to call it. And I'm not here to offend anybody. Well, actually, sometimes I am. But anyway, as a parent, I'm concerned from this story that the teacher did not get approval from the parents before she broached a subject that is the prerogative of the parents to, just like sex education or anything else that has to do with their kids. If it's being taught, it should be known by the parents that it's going to be brought up to their children and get their approval. Okay? No one has the right to start indoctrinating your kids for whatever reason, whatever you support, okay? If it's fine for your child, all well and good, okay, if you're up for it. But, let's just say that the teacher, for whatever reason, was a white supremacist and she thought that Adolf Hitler was the savior of the world, and she brought a Nazi flag into the classroom and said Nazis are good. Hi, Hitler. Adolf Hitler was looking out for your best interests, okay? People would be losing their minds, okay? Now, I'm not going to go down through every subject and tell you, whether I support it or I don't support it. What I'm saying is those parents should have been advised prior to these young children having this subject either discussed or talked to them. I don't care if Dr. Spock wrote the book, okay? Our kids, our say, we're responsible for them. You're just the teacher, okay? You don't get to make decisions that fall into the purview of the parents, okay? You don't get to invent new subjects, all right? A lot of parents feel the only flag that should be in the classroom is the American flag, okay? I don't have a problem with state flags. And there might be some other flags that, but it's our kids and it's the school system. Parents have a right to know about it, okay? You don't try and pull a fast one. You don't try and get over on the parents, okay? Because it's just going to come back to bite you in the butt. The parents will eventually find out, just like here in this story. They found out there's some parents that are okay with it. There's some parents that wanted a say in it. There's some parents that feel like we should have been told, okay? How do y'all feel about that? Let's see. All hell would break out, Eric. I guess, Sandy, you're still talking about the door-to-door salesman. But how many people out there feel like, the school system is accountable to the parents? Okay, it's not the other way around. The parents don't work for the school system. Okay, the school system doesn't own the kids. Parents need to know what's going on in the classroom. And you know what? You need to go to school. You need to be involved. I'm not saying you got to join the PTA, but you got to know what's going on in the classroom. You got to talk to those kids on a daily basis. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Susie. How was your day in school? What did you do? What did you learn today? How was recess? How was your lunch? I ask my kids every single day, because all these drinks and stuff that are out there now is like the mornings that they have breakfast and stuff at school. Did you have milk with breakfast? Come on now. Did you have milk? Did you have milk with lunch? Because I'm a firm believer, the way I was raised, okay, I had milk with almost every single meal. Now there was times where maybe I got a soft drink or orange juice or something like that. And I'm not saying you got to have milk every single time. But you know what? I've only fractured one bone one time, and it was a small bone. And I'm a firm believer that milk makes you strong. Makes those bones strong. You need that vitamin D. And it's never been proven. Now there's a lot of controversy as to whether we're going to go skim milk or whole milk or whatever. But my kids are so active, I think they can handle the whole milk. No, I was talking about the teacher. I kind of thought you were. I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up. We got a lot of people that are joining. They're coming into us, seeing us from the Auburn area, from the Opelika area. We have schools all over, and I would be very upset. I mean, again, I'm not going to make up a subject or try and come up with a good analogy, but I'm just saying, what if your grandfather or something was a Vietnam War vet, and a teacher came in with a picture of Jane Fonda and some communist flag and
that better, Susan?
And said that Jane Fonda was a patriot and she was standing up for America. And what really Jane Fonda got a bunch of Americans killed while she was over there. I'm not going to go into it, but Jane Fonda ain't one of my favorite people. She never will be. And as far as I'm concerned, she's still a traitor. Bleep, bleep. She's still a traitor. Anyway.
Thank you, Susan.
Anywho, what else have we got?
Well,
let's see. Let me, on the absolutely ridiculous, let me get this out and then I'm going to turn it over to Joe. Anything he wants to talk about or anything y'all want to talk about. If you got a subject, you can always call in. The number is 706-940-0541.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it memorized. Did anybody catch the story from ESPN? Up in Virginia, there was a ESPN guy that was going to do a football game in Virginia, I think around Charlottesville or something, or maybe it was the University of Virginia was playing, and they have decided to replace him because his name was Robert Lee, not Robert E. Lee, Robert Lee, Lima, Echo, Echo, Lee, okay?
This really happened.
And this is honest to God truth, okay? The thing that makes it so ridiculous is Mr. Lee is an Asian American. He has absolutely no relationship.
So the Asian Lee, like
yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. He's got no relation, no bloodline, anything to anybody in Virginia. As far as the Robert E. Lee family, the Confederacy, anything like that. How ridiculous is that this man was replaced by they were so afraid that somebody would hear the name and lose their mind and not be able to see that this man was an Asian American.
Wouldn't matter if he was Caucasian American.
Huh?
It wouldn't matter if he was Caucasian. That's just ridiculous. I mean that's
how. I'm just going to say, how ridiculous have we gotten in this country that a man's name is now, we're getting all upset. The snowflake mentality. People are just going to melt and drop in their tracks because Robert Lee called the game, and he was going to be on TV and people would obviously see he was an Asian American. And who in their farthest reaches of their mind would try and stretch, that this Asian American was somehow tied to Robert E. Lee and that it had something to do with the Confederacy or slavery or racism or something. I mean, anyway, that's going around through the sports channels right now. You've probably seen it on the internet. I just thought I'd mention it. Absolutely ridiculous. And I just think it's absolutely silly. And I think a good solution to it would be more Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders on TV. Yeah,
that would probably
yeah,
work.
like every other show. But
Joe, by the way, a little bit of historical trivia there. I'd be interested to those out. Just for the record, Robert Edward Lee, General Robert Edward Lee, who was offered command of the Union Army, and he turned it down because he said, "I cannot raise my sword against my beloved Virginia." The first thing he did before he went off to war, he did have slaves, and he freed all his slaves. Ulysses S. Grant, whose wife was from Missouri, had two slaves that were gifts from his father-in-law when they had gotten married. And they were all the way to 1863, after Gettysburg, he received a letter from President Lincoln saying that, can we turn that off, please? Thank you.
I thought it was Morse code.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We have Ulysses S. Grant got a letter from from President Lincoln saying, I think, my dear General, I think it is inappropriate that the commanding general of the Union Army has 2 slaves. So, of course, he said, I agree, sir. So he freed them and made them manservants that were being paid, but they were gifts from his wife's father when he got married. So that was a interesting little side note there. So I think we got some breaking news. Fire officials are on the scene. Where was that, on Lee Road? Let me bring that down.
Hey, that's no fair. You're getting breaking news. I'm not getting.
Fire officials are on the scene on Lee Road 240 after a building caught fire on that. So Lee Road 240, be careful. I don't know any more info on that. If anybody knows anything about that, they can let us know.
The 240 is a major thoroughfare going from Lee County back down through to the edge of Phoenix City. So that'd be interesting. Anybody know about the fire out there on 240? We got people out there. Getting back to what you were talking about, do you know that the Lincoln, I think it was the Lincoln Memorial, has had graffiti and stuff painted on Abraham Lincoln? Now, come on, folks. There's no way, shape, or form that you can hold Abraham Lincoln responsible for the Confederacy, all right? I mean, he led the nation, he led the North against the fight against the South, okay? And ended up giving up his life fighting for the rights of some people.
No, that's the 1200 block of Lee Road 240.
1200. So 1200 sounds down near.
It says Lee Fire in Lee County. The buildings on the fire is located 1200 block of Lee County Road 240. Details are limited. We will check back later.
That kind of sounds down towards maybe the beginning of 240 as it comes in off of Stafford Road. I could be wrong. I might be totally backed up. But it seems like 1200 is probably up there. I'm trying to think of a known point. Probably up there just to the north of the swamp up there. But so I've asked, let's see, Donald, it says 1200 block, the 1200 block.
1200 block, that's what we got on that. We have, of course, an interesting thing here too. This guy's going to be holding something very nice over. An interesting thing too about we talk about Columbus is, again, we have this all perceived power in the mayor's office. The mayor does not even have a vote on council unless there's a 5-5 split. That's the only time she gets to vote, or whoever the mayor is on that. So they call it the mayor's budget. It's the mayor's recommendation of the budget. The council votes on the budget. The council votes on taking away money, on giving money. The council votes on hiring, on firing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think for far too long, the council, at least in Columbus, has gotten away with the ability to, and I'm not siding with the mayor, for God's sakes, but I'm saying has been able to say, oh, that's the mayor on that. They are the legal legislative body of Muscogee County. And if things happen here, and they're not doing things to address those, they're the ones that have the authority. They're the ones that have the authority to change things. The mayor can only enact their policy.
Yeah. Hey, something just popped in my little brain, and I was talking to a volunteer fire person. I'm trying to remember what department, and I guess it's really not important. But he wanted me to, he kind of brought up the subject that, social media is good and everything, and that, we had that terrible wreck out on Highway 80 this past week, or over the weekend. Can't remember which day it was, I'm sorry. But not so much about that as you hear about this stuff on social media, or you pick up something on the scanner and stuff. The volunteers are asking you to try and stay out of their way, stay out of the emergency vehicle's way. And we've always asked, if you're at a car wreck or some type of, in other words, where you have people hurt, laying on the ground or something being taken care of, don't be so insensitive or whatever that you're snapping pictures of an accident scene and the gory pictures and stuff. Because one, we don't really want that we don't want it on the page. We don't want to go that far. We try and keep the names off and stuff. And but basically, what this is two things. One, the volunteers out there in your individual areas, all the departments still need volunteer help if you want to take the time to get trained. I keep telling them, I'll come out and squirt water, but they say, no, you got to go through training and show up the meetings and stuff. And I said, well, can I drive and just run the siren and stuff? No, you got to learn how to roll hoses and wear the equipment and use the breathing stuff and get certified and stuff. But so if you're a younger type guy, ex-military or whatever, or you just like being around burning stuff, you might think about volunteering. And if you're not going to volunteer, please stay out of the way of the volunteers. Don't run over their hoses. Don't get in the way of their vehicles. They're doing the best they can. They're volunteers. There's one group, from a certain area out there along Highway 80 that I think they have the title the unpaid professionals or whatever, something along that line. But they would just appreciate a little consideration and stuff. And I think the same department, let's see, Donald is saying that it's around the Roberts Roofing Company on 240. So that's kind of like in that turn off of 208, Lee Road 208, going down towards Lee Road 235 in the shortstop area. So I don't know if we've got anybody out there. I don't know what exactly is on fire or whatever, but we hope everybody's okay. And anywho, is there anybody that's got any subjects, anything that's hot, anything y'all want to talk about out there? We are trying to figure out the best way.
Miss Pat had something she wants to say, I think.
Okay.
Announcement.
I was at Shooters yesterday, and there was these two women that had these really neat shirts on, and I was reading them and trying to figure out what they do, and they actually have like a club for women who shoot and who like to protect themselves, and they have everything from women that's been shooting 20 plus years to women that has never shot a gun.
Is this like a First Wives Club or something like that?
I'm not sure. I'm trying
Goldie
to find
Hawn
her
and
card in my...
Bette Midler and Diane Keaton.
No. This is called
I think it's
the
more
Well-Armed
Club.
Woman Shooting Chapters.
What was that name again?
The Well-Armed Women Shooting Chapters.
Actually,
Where the feminine and firearms meet. And they have a website, which is www.twawsshootingchapters.org. And it says, creating opportunities for women to learn and grow as shooters. And they were showing me some stuff out there in the lobby yesterday, and it was really, interesting to know that you could go to this club. It's $50 a year, and they get together like on Monday nights, and on Tuesday nights they actually go and they shoot at Shooters, and they said they're partnered with Shooters. So if you go on Tuesday nights to shoot, you have to either buy your ammo or bring your own ammo. You can bring your own gun, and they will take you step by step how to fire the gun. If it jams, they'll teach you how to unjam the gun. And the lady that's been the head of this shooting club, I'm trying to find her card, give me just a second. Very nice lady. I talked to two ladies. One was a new shooter, and then this lady that heads it up, and she said she believes, well, yesterday they had their 75th member I found her. Her name is Nancy Phelps. She's the chapter leader, and it says educate, equip, empower. The email is twawcolumbusgeorgia@gmail.com. The Facebook is the Well Armed Women Columbus, Georgia chapter.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like a communist organization to me.
It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. On the back, it says the Well-Armed Women Certified Instructor. They meet the second Monday of the month at 3530 Macon Road. And on Tuesday nights, they meet at Shooters of Columbus, 4445 Milton Road.
Everybody knows where Shooters is at.
And if you'd like to come and try it out, which I plan on doing at some point, then just call, let's see if they have a phone number on here. Call Nancy. Better yet, I think you just need to email Nancy because I'm not seeing a phone number. You can go to info@twawshapters.org.
MOUSE. No, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for that update, Miss Pat. And let's see, there's a link. The above link is to the WTVM fire.
The WTVM fire.
Or the WTVM link about the fire.
Oh, about the fire in Lee County?
Yeah.
Okay. It must have been going on for a while then.
On that. Yes, lots of laughs, Eric, on that. Well, I think we're getting ready to shut down.
Yeah, I think it's time to go get some lunch or something.
We got that on there. We want to thank everybody today for tuning in. And we're going to be getting bigger and better. And thank you all for all the people in the watch.
Well, a quick word. I was going to say it earlier. We are trying to find the best way to do the show live so that everybody can share it. And we still haven't worked out the bugs because the watch is a closed page. Anything that's shared to the page, I don't think can be shared to another page. So I guess we're still relying on the YouTube channel, which is a little bit different. We have it, the camera's closer to us on the YouTube channel. So it's not quite as good as the camera that's farther away from us. But what we do need is we definitely need more people in the Phoenix City area to add their friends and their family. Please leave the criminals and the drug users and the drug dealers and all those people out. We don't need them.
Sandy said she'd be a guest on the show. I'd love to have you, Sandy.
Sure.
Yeah, come on. We'd like to have that. And Ellen Fitzpatrick says, Miss Pat,
Sandy, you just have to wear a Dallas
would you
Cowboys
post that
jersey.
information on the watch page?
Absolutely.
Miss Pat said she would post that information, Ellen, on that about the shooting club on that. I thought it was interesting. Yes, we're going to post. Yes, we're going to post that right now, Ellen, I believe.
And if you don't want to come all the way to Columbus to shoot, we have a spot over in Lee County, and I regularly take ladies out there and do the same kind of training, NRA-backed certified training, along with stuff that's been picked up by the approved stuff, that's taught in the military and in law enforcement. And
Ellen, I think Miss Pat is going to go on her phone in just a few minutes and post that on
Okay.
watch. Thank you.
So everybody's doing a great job. They are sharing stuff. We are seeing stuff in real time. We're not having to rely on the media. We're seeing it. People are getting out there. I do say that if you're in your car and you see something happening, try and pull over in a parking lot, or Don't be snapping away pictures as you're going down the road because we don't want you to be distracted, especially if you're in Columbus, right? Because you'll get a ticket. If you're over in Alabama, try and do it safely so you don't run over somebody. But just let us know what's going on. If you have an issue that you want to talk about, but you don't want to post it publicly under your name or something, you can always send a message to one of the admins, Miss Elaine, Miss Stacy, or myself. If you got a question, you can do it. We get questions all the time. Okay, a lot of questions. So, anywho,
I do want to quick thing out there. Everybody might be interested in this. You can go to on Facebook to the Kiwanis Club, the local Kiwanis Club here in Columbus, and there's just a few days left. They're having a fundraiser right now. They did this. This is the third year, and they have 1,000 tickets, and it's $30 for a ticket.
What is a Kiwanis?
I'm not quite sure.
Is it like a koala bear?
Yes, something like that. But what's neat about this is that there's 1,000 tickets they have, and I think usually they don't sell all 1,000, but for $30, and the ticket goes helping children and people. It's a nice charity on that. But they partnered with Money Miser, Robbie Winton and Money Miser, and the ticket is $30, and starting on Monday. So you've only got between now and Monday to get the ticket. So you can go to the Kiwanis site on Facebook for Columbus. It's got the phone number where you can call and get this. But listen to this: the ticket is $30, but they've got for 30 days in a row, starting on the 1st of September. Every day they're going to draw tickets, so you actually have 30 chances to win. It's not like just one drawing. So you've got 30 chances to win, and they've got 30 prizes that are coming out of Money Miser, and they're all guns, and they're high dollar guns. They're around $1,000. They're Glock. I think there's like 3 Glock 19s. There's some 45s. Got some ARs, some shotguns. It's all guns like this. And here's what's amazing: is if you win and you go over to Money Miser and you don't want that, you don't want the gun. Robbie Winton said that he will give you store credit for the value of that gun. You buy it from the store you want. So you might want to get on. There's just a couple days left today. It's Wednesday, so you've only got between now and Monday to get your ticket. I think there's plenty left, but they're $30, and it goes for a good cause. And that's pretty good odds if you think about that.
Yeah.
30 because there's 1,000 tickets, and you'll get 30 chances to win.
Don't forget to get out there and get you a Powerball ticket. It's $700 million tonight. I personally, if I win, I'm throwing a party.
Wow, that's tonight. $700 million.
$700 million. And if I win, I think I'm going to buy Phoenix City.
I think, yeah. If I win, we'll buy Phoenix City too. Yeah. And Columbus. We'll buy both. I mean, but I would love. Link posted watch. I would love to go to Columbus City Council and stuff and say, "Hey, what I'm going to do? I'm going to write y'all a check for your budget this year. It's on me. It's on me. It's all people of Columbus. It's on me this year." Of course, I did look at the odds here. Not the odds, but I was looking at something here. If you win the $700 million after state, federal, and the other 5 or 6 different taxes, you'll get $17.83.
I think it's a little more than that.
I think it's a lot more than that.
Anyway, what's
Lakeisha just got put something on here. What she got? Let me put my glasses on.
Lakeisha, did they get some good jail time? Did they get prosecuted, or are you still waiting on that? That's the thing that kills me about the justice system. It takes forever and a day to go through the system. But we're all thankful that your mother wasn't hurt.
Absolutely.
And she got her vehicle back. And but there's a couple vehicles every day that we lose. Some never to be seen again. Some to be found burning. A lot of them are being recovered by law enforcement.
And I still am at this loss. We all know why, because it's a political thing. But why we have consistently seen through the efforts of people like Eric and the Watch that when there's crimes committed, and they're put on the watch. They're looking for people. They're looking for cars. They're looking for things. They've consistently been very, very effective in helping resolve those issues. Yet we still are having area law enforcement agencies having somebody commit a crime, and they don't want to say what color they are. They don't want to say how they're dressed. They don't want to see where what they live. If they have a name or show a picture of them, because they said that
it comes back to we're just afraid that we're going to offend somebody, or some voters are going to get upset, and it's going to backlash on some elected official, and they're going to have to deal with it. And, I think if there is this is what kills me. Every time there's a crime and a police report is taken, there is something put down as far as the suspect description. Now, it's up to the media, and if the law enforcement is going to ask for help and stuff, they got to put a description of the individual out. Okay, if you have information, that the Crime Stoppers killed me all the time. A month, 2 months, 3 months later, they're asking for help. I can't tell you where I was last week and what I saw. Let alone three or 4 months. And it needs to be immediate. If the police don't have any good leads within 1 or 2 days, 3 days, or 2 days, you need to ask the public for help. Put some information out there and see if somebody saw something. If you got a stolen vehicle, we ought to have a billboard somewhere up in centrally located in the area on both sides of the river with pictures of the stolen cars.
I got 2 quick things. One, I want to, if Miss Pat, the phones are working, 706-940-0541.
Yes.
706-940-0541. If you give us a call, I've got a free T-shirt here today that says Hometown Guardians on it. It's got a real nice, on the back, American flag with a copy of the Psalm is the 144th Psalm.
Yeah.
And we have these in all sizes, all the way up from small up to, I think, 2X. 706-940-0541. You won't be on with us. You'll be on talking to Miss Pat. You can see your name.
I wore that exact same T-shirt, not that exact same T-shirt, but I had that T-shirt on yesterday evening at Chick-fil-A in Phoenix City. And we had 2 Canadians, that were down here for church business from Canada, and he saw that shirt. He liked that shirt so much he wanted to know where he could get one and take it back to Canada. And unfortunately, I was pretty sweaty in mine, or I'd give it in that one. But real nice Canadians down here visiting.
I wish you got their names. We'd send them one.
Yeah, I think they left early this morning. They said it was hot down here.
Well, I'm going to change gears for just a second because I've got something that Paul Voorhees had asked me to ask you. On the show today, and Paul is considering a run for mayor of Columbus. That's not a joke. That's not fake news. And he'd asked, in terms of crime, what you thought, because something he said he was thinking about is what about how do you think it would go over in this area if we brought an organization like the Guardian Angels to have a chapter here? The Guardian Angels that wear the Red Beret in New York. That's very, very well known across the country on that. Do you think he said that have do the patrols and stuff like that?
We'd have to have a long discussion about it, because I'm sure there'd be some cries of vigilantism, just like when that group first started in New York.
Yep.
We'd have to have some calm, cool. There'd have to be training. Don't you already got the purple people eaters down there in downtown on Broadway, right? Aren't they controlling stuff down there?
I don't exactly know what they do. Does anybody know what they do? I don't know.
I see them riding around and they wear purple, and I guess they give out information on where stuff is.
Watch this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is called sarcasm. I'm about to do a sarcastic statement. Or they could do, what's that guy down there that rides around in the Dodge Charger with the 454 Hemi package, police package? It's black with $1,000 rims on it. I think he works for isn't that the city manager?
Yeah. Well, you got to understand, you need a vehicle like that to get around to meetings and
Columbus. That's right, yeah.
That 454 will get you around quick.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Pat. There's information, TWAWC chapter. Thank you for putting that up there. But, and I do want to say, because I want to be fair. I want to be honest. Is, a lot of people heard about that, about our city manager buying this car. He had the right to buy the car that he got. He did get a good bond. I looked it up. It was a fleet purchase. He did have it in his budget. He did not use any unbudgeted funds. He was completely within his jurisdiction, his rights, his office to use those funds to buy that car, and he had the authority. But that's kind of back. We're getting back to the swastika in the head thing. I have the right to carve the swastika in my head. Does that mean I should do it? No, it doesn't mean that because you have the right when you're the city manager to use your budget money to buy yourself a Dodge Charger with a police package in it.
Why couldn't he got him like a Volkswagen?
Yeah,
or something?
well, and I'm just matter of facts. This is the same city manager, and I'm not making this up. I'll go see him in face to face, or I'll go with any of you and do it. This is the same manager that less than a year ago went in front of his Columbus Council and said that he actually was going to propose buying some electric cars for the police department, because gas is to save money on gas, and he's driving around in a car that gets 11 miles per gallon. He should be driving a golf cart, an electric car, a Yugo or something, or I don't know what that is. But what's the number again? 706-940-0541. 706-940-0541. Call in for your T-shirt, and we'll give one away. Absolutely, and maybe even tell you what, I'll give away for the next 3 people. Call, not the same people, but I give the next 3.
Let me get off camera. I'll call in.
On that,
No, I'm just kidding.
You get one free. Anyway.
What's the number again? It's 706-940-0541.
On that, and let's see, and then we can talk about.
Yeah, we need to get Lakeisha on the show.
Lakeisha's great.
We need to find out why the Navy keeps running their ships into other ships.
Lakeisha, what's the deal on that? What is the deal on that? I mean,
do we have to have a defensive driving course in the ocean?
Is there somebody with a steering wheel or something like that, or what do they do on that? I don't mean to sound it.
Just poking fun at the Navy.
Yeah, that is. God bless and thank you for your service. Thank you for all of this, and we don't want to make fun of any of those people that work injured or work on the job. John McCain. I hope they're all better. Tom, no, that is crazy. But that is a real. That's not a made up Facebook thing. There was actually a proposal made by Isaiah Hughley, the city manager, to buy electric police cars. Why do we have some of the police cars are
where are they going to get the extension cords from?
It had to be a long one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just think about police top-speed chases.
I think the police officers should have their pay doubled. I think that they should have better equipment. I think so. We have great law enforcement officers, but they are burdened by politicians.
How about we take the gloves off and we'll go after the criminals?
Yeah.
And not worry about who gets offended in the community.
Pat, is the phone working? Lakeisha said she can't get through on that. 706-940-0541. Is this 541 or is this 42?
I think that's 4-1.
And I'm gonna try here, and I'm gonna call it on my phone to make sure. I'm doing a test call here.
Do you hear it? I didn't hear
7,
a dial tone.
706-940.
Could it possibly be
Oh,
unplugged?
is that little thing unplugged in the back? Lakeisha, you know what? That's me. I forgot to plug the thing in.
Joe's fault.
Sorry. Wait a minute. Give us 2 seconds, Lakeisha. Hold on. Wait a minute. I had the thing. It's unplugged. That's why it wasn't reading. Now it is now. Now try it. 706-940-0541. It is working. 940-0541. Please call.
This is a safety tip. It is always good
To check.
to have your phone plugged in if you're trying to receive phone calls.
That could definitely be. There it is. It's working on that. All right, let's pass. Pick it up. 706-940-0541. We'll give away 3. Let's stay after one. All right, you got to go to work.
I don't have to go. Well, I was hoping to go to get a free sandwich somewhere.
On that. All right, hey, you want a sandwich? You want some meat?
Yeah, I don't want to take your lunch.
I bought
Maybe your lunch money.
I bought some for you too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Look, folks, again, we need your help. Share the group, share the watch with the family, the friends, the people at church,
and
people at work.
And Eric, can I ask something for people to do something too? When you talk to your elected officials, tell them, start out by saying, I'm a member of the
We
watch.
forgot something.
Go ahead. But I'm a member of the watch on that. Tell it to them so that because they know that.
People in Columbus, I want you to. We talked about this last week, but I want you to be real friendly. You know, especially if you see the mayor. You remember our campaign to make the mayor feel better. Everybody needs to wave bye. Teresa. Bye, Teresa.
Yeah.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Okay, well, I think we have somebody. All right, get ready. Let's see, hit it, Pat. Great. Miss Pat's trying to figure out here something. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Lakeisha.
Hi, family.
How you doing? All right. Thank you for your service to our country, by the way. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for everything. Thank you. And guess what? You're the winner of a free T-shirt. And all you had to do was call in. So how's everything going with you?
I can barely hear you guys.
How's everything going with you?
It's because the
It's
speaker's
oh,
over there.
Miss Pat, put that to your mouth and say how's everything going with you.
There's a lot of feedback.
How is everything going with you?
Oh, everything's going great.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do we're still trying we're a little technically challenged here, so it's gonna have to be a three-way here on the call. So
I can only hear Miss Pat.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, Miss Pat, tell her I said thank you for your service.
Joe said thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you guys for your service as well.
And tell her how that we appreciate her and she's won a free T-shirt.
We appreciate you, and you have won a free T-shirt, and you need to come and be a guest on our show.
Yes.
Thank you. I would love to.
Love that. Yes, the beautiful, the lovely Lakeisha.
And she just loves everybody. She's so sweet.
Yes, she is.
Thank you guys for being there for my family when my mom was carjacked. I really appreciate it. My family appreciates it.
Tell her I said that's our family. That's a family of brothers and sisters.
Joe said that's our family. That's a family of brothers and sisters.
Very true. Very true.
And just like they tell her, just like the song, we are family.
He said, just like the song, we are family.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, we are.
I'm not. And tell her I said, we'll tell them, God help those people. We all find them because we'll take turns.
He said, God help those people if we find them because we'll all take turns.
That's right.
You know, you got to put the phone up to when she talks. On that. All right, go ahead.
We're just getting the show. We're trying to get it better, and we have new cameras and things like that. And right now, to have you on Facebook, I have to talk, and then I have to put the microphone up to the phone so everybody on Facebook can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Say something to Lakeisha.
Go ahead, say something, Lakeisha.
I love you guys so much.
Yeah, we love her too.
We love you too.
And I tell her let's get her on next week.
I am so sorry to have to cut this call short. One of my veterans from Veterans Treatment was calling.
Okay, I'll call you afterwards and set something up.
Okay. You guys take care.
Okay,
Thank you, dear.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you got to remember when you talk to her, when she's talking, you're going to put that. We're going to get that better. Eric's working on it. He's the brains of the outfit.
I don't know about all that, but anyway. Well,
Let me see that helmet.
you want to see the helmet?
Yeah,
All right. You don't have cooties, do you?
No, I don't, but I want to try it. This is newer technology from when I was in the military.
Yeah, it just has a section of the helmet cut so that you can. It's cooler. It's cooler, and you can hear.
Okay, I look real professional there, don't I? That's right. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hello.
You almost look like remember those old World War I helmets, the Kaiser helmets that had the spike coming out of the top of it.
Yes, there's some kind of. Right.
You look like
That looks like I'm trying out for the slalom team
No.
for the Olympics.
You look like Sergeant Schultz. I said nothing.
And this is the hey. You see, it's funny how it's how you wear your helmet. And see, this is and this is the sophisticated. It's the French look.
Yeah, the French.
And the French. I tell you what, it feels pretty secure. But I think our head is shaped different. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Could be. Well, look, we appreciate everybody that tuned in and caught the live broadcast, and we appreciate the people that will watch it later when they get off work and stuff. Catch it tonight in the next couple of days. Like I said, we're going to try and find a better way to share it so that people can copy and share it. And we ask all the people out there that are seeing it from the other groups like Bleecker, Beauregard, Fort Mitchell, Beulah, Auburn, Opelika area, different parts around, Columbus, like out in Box Springs or Upatoy and some of these other places and stuff. Just keep sharing the page, and we'll keep getting bigger, and we'll keep sharing that information. And I guess we will see you next Wednesday. And what time we're going to go next Wednesday, do you think?
I think we're going to 11, right?
We go 11 or 11:30?
11:30.
Okay. We'll shoot for 11:30 next Wednesday, and hopefully more people can join us and participate. If you have an issue that you want discussed, shoot it to one of us.
And I think also something kind of exciting, because we have a benefactor. We won't say who that is, but we're in the process right now of getting some watch T-shirts and watch caps for the watch.
I'm even excited about, I want to do, I don't know what y'all think about it, but some signs that say, yard signs that say, "Bye, Teresa."
Did you hear? Seriously, did you hear that somebody sent her a shirt that had it screen printed and it said, "Welcome to Kill Columbus." KILUMBUS.
No way.
Columbus. On that. Shocking, because we have, I think, 33% less crime than we had the last few years here.
From the statistics of 2008.
Of course, that's only covering crimes involving people of Norwegian descent who now live in.
Let's don't even go there.
Lower Afghanistan. But
bottom line is, we're not delusional. We're keeping our guns, and we don't believe that things are better now than they were in 2008.
Can I get my Jerry beads with a T-shirt? No, what's that mean?
Jerry beads with a T-shirt. You lost to Sandy.
You lost to Sandy. Jerry beads.
Jerry Lewis beads.
Is that it?
I don't know.
What bead Jerry you talking about? That's a little bit of.
So, we will going to be signing off. Keep adding people to the page.
All right. Hey, be safe, be careful, and don't be afraid. Don't live in fear. Okay? God bless you. God bless America. God bless Eric Woodson. Thank you for the watch. Thank you for all of y'all. We'll see you next week. Miss Pat, take us out.
No, don't take us out. Just turn off Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Don't take us out. With her, that actually could happen. Just turn us off. Okay. Well, thank you, Pat.
We're out.
Woo. Wow. We were on for like
hour and a half.
That was
2 hours.
2 hours.